Hey guys, it's Matthew from TeamYJF, and I thought that I would update the Dark World deck profile for the September 1st ban list. And I'm really glad that Dark World did not get hit basically whatsoever. So, here we go. 3 copies of Grapha, still really broken, staple. 3 copies of Snoww, search out your deck. And 3 copies of Broww, still staple. And I'm running 2 copies of Beiige instead of 1, because I really like 2. I know they can be gloggy if you have 2 in your hand, but I really like Beiige because he's a level 4 and helps you exceed in this deck, which is something this deck naturally does not do a lot. 1 copy of Sillva. I don't like the level 5s. They get really cloggy, so if anyone has any suggestions to help this deck get better, it's, this deck's always improving. Anyone has any suggestions what I should take this Sillva out for, don't be afraid to leave a comment. So, moving on, 2 copies of Tour Guide, and 2 copies of Trance Archfiend. I think Trance Archfiend is actually pretty overlooked in Dark World. He gets back any banished dark monsters, so if your Grapha gets bottomless or deprisoned, then you can always get him back. And he's also an out Naturia beast, which is really good. When you're locked down and you can't use any spells, then it's just another discard outlet that they might not expect you have. So that's all the monsters. I think that's 16 monsters. And then for the spells, we got triple gates, still really broken. Triple dealing. I really like dealing at 3. I wouldn't run it any lower. It's like the most basic discard outlet you got. So 3 dealing is really good. 3 drag down. Again, still broken. A lot of discard outlets. You're gonna need a lot. 1 card destruction. Self-explanatory, and here's a new tech, I guess you could say. I'm playing 1 Gateway to Dark World, and usually I wouldn't run this card because then you can't summon for the rest of your turn. But you can always set it, and then once they enter battle phase, you can end phase bring out. You can bring out a Grapha, and it just like stops their turn. They have to go straight into main phase too, and then otherwise you can just like end phase, bring out a Dark World, and then during your turn just bring out a Grapha. So a lot of good pluses with this. Still 1 Foolish for automatic Grapha, and staples we got Reborn, Dark Hole, 1 Heavy Storm, and then 1 Mystic.
Now, are you going to be running this deck for your primary deck in the next format?
I believe so. I think Dark Worlds have a lot of potential this format. Moving on to traps, we got 3 copies of Reckless, really broken if you get multiple off at once, and then they're chainable too, so if your opponent goes heavy, you can just flip over a couple of Reckless Greeds and you plus like crazy. I mained 2 copies of Skill Drain. Now I see a lot of people side deck the Skill Drain. I think Skill Drain is really powerful against just about any deck this format except for maybe Mirror Match. So Skill Drain, really powerful card, stops a lot of plays and a lot of decks. And 3 is too cloggy. I've seen a couple people run 3 Skill Drains and I don't like that. 2 Torrentials. Torrentials are a huge power card, and we're in a double Torrential format, so once you Torrential any deck that tries to swarm, then you can just bring out your Graphas again. And then I have room for 1 copy of Mind Crush. Mind Crush is really good, because even if you declare wrong, you can always discard, and that will get your Dark World effects. So really good. 1 copy of Mind Crush. So moving on to the extra deck, it's not complete. I know I only have 13 out of 15 right now. So this is kind of what I have. You run Tour Guide, so you're going to run a lot of rank 3s. Wind up Zen Mains because it's available now. Acid Golem for game closing plays. 2 Leviathans because they get a Fiend in the graveyard for gates. It's really good first turn. Tempo, awesome card. You can pop it up to 27 while taking materials off an opponent's Exceed monster, mainly because Zen Mains or something like that. Moves the Rhythm, I haven't used him very much, but he can go up to 3,000 sometimes, and yeah, he's really good. And some filler. These, you don't use these at all, they're just kind of there. And then 1 Terabyte, this is a custom art again. Terabyte, there's like very few opportunities to go into it, and it's not very good. Again, it's like more filler like the Granosaurus and the Lavalval Ignis. But yeah, so rank 4s. Which are easier to go in this since I run 2 Beiges. Maestroke, the Symphony Djinn, he is also a Fiend, so if you have Gates of the Dark World on the field, he does get that 300 plus, which is actually pretty significant. Utopia, kind of staple. Photon Papal Operative for Reapers, Marshmallow, and Gel and Duo, stuff like that. one Gemini Pearl, he's really good because he has no effect, and he's not hindered by things like Fiendish Chain, and when you have Skill Drain on the field, he's still really good because it doesn't matter. And then one Synchro, I am running a Dark Highlander because I side the Fabled Raven. This card's pretty devastating against decks that Synchro a lot, like Lavels or Plants. Again, September Banlist Spore is back, so there's going to be some people trying to run Plants again, and if you bring this guy out, they have like nothing to do. So he's a pretty good card, and he got a reprint, so that's always good. And my side deck isn't complete, but here's some cards that you could always run. So it's just some suggestions, sorry. 2 Snowman Eater, because Dino Rabbit is not dead, and Snowman Eaters will try to stop that. For people who run Hair Addicts, or some people still trying the Chaos Dragons, some people who think they're not dead yet, anything dragon related, Victorias, so those are still really good. DD Crow for mirror match, mostly. And then the Fabled Raven, just for heavy Synchro options. So Heroes and Samurai next format. So that's why Puppet Plant's gonna be really good. When the hero player has a chance to Exceed or Synchro, you can just take one of the monsters and it really disrupts their plays. So we can also run System Down because Girgias are new, and then any other machines, gadgets might be coming back. And then yeah. So Prohibition just kind of stand alone. Otherwise, yeah, okay, so, sorry. And then we have 2 Mystics because you want Shadow Imprisoning Mirror and Macro as far away from you as possible. And then, since all Dark Worlds are Fiend type Darks, you can run things like Rivalry and Gozen Match. I don't have a Gozen Match with me right now, but those are options too, and they really wreck Samurai and Windups, so that's good. Again, with the Plants, some people are going to be trying to play Plants, Junk Doppel, and stuff like that, so Deck Devi is going to be really effective against them. It's also effective against things like, I don't know, like Windups, Rabbit, so Deck Devi, really good. Same thing with Mystic. You want Shadow Imprisoning Mirror and Macros Cosmos really far away from you, just get them away. And a new card from Return of the Duel is called Soul Drain. I don't know if people are going to be running that, but just, yeah, get those cards away from you. And then 2 Decrees for just kind of like things like Chain Burn. Things like Chain Burn, Final Countdown. Since Drell Winston played Exodia at the Worlds, this will be a pretty good card to run. Also, you can run Jinzos because you can't MST a Jinzo. Really good. So that's just like some suggestions. Again, the side deck's not really complete. So like whatever's your meta, I guess you could side against whatever decks that are around you. And I guess that is it. This is my Dark Worlds for September 2012. If you have any suggestions, feel free to comment. I'm always trying to improve this deck. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is TeamYJF signing out.